Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I'm a food truck business coach and author of Food Truck 101, Beginner to Winner. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business. Running a food truck can be very challenging, and often an owner runs around all day long putting out fires and not really improving the operation or the profitability of the food truck. In fact, if you research health department records, they indicate that the first year, 1 in 4 food trucks fail or they sell out and change ownership. By the 5th year, that's up to 3 out of 5 have either been sold or have just completely failed. 60% failure rate is consistent across a lot of different business startups. The good news is running a food truck is no more prone to failing than any other business. But still, the bad news is 3 out of 5 fail. And it does take hard work, determination, and daily improvement actions to be successful in any business, especially the food truck business. So I've got a couple of strategies and tips to help you guys change the odds and put them in your favor so you're not going to end up being one of that 60% that fail. First thing you need to really consider is having a clear-cut vision for your food truck. As an owner-operator, you must have a clear vision of the entire delivery system involved with your food truck. And that's from ordering and receipt of the food to the storage, preparation, plating, to the method of service, and the guest interactions. If you aren't clear in your vision and expectations, or you don't communicate that vision clearly to your staff, you can rest assured your staff is just completely confused and just make it up as they go. And it's going to show in the food, it's going to show in the prep, it's going to show in how things are plated, and it's certainly going to show in all of your guest interactions. So have a vision, what you want a happy guest to look like and how you're going to achieve that. Second, if you don't have the time to train your staff right, let me ask you this. When will you find time to retrain them? Are you guilty of throwing a brand new person into a job with little or no training? Or you hired somebody that said, yeah, I used to work at some restaurant and I was a short order cook, and you think, awesome, they'll help me. Often what an owner does is they think because the task or the position is kind of low importance or easy, they just toss that newbie into it, figuring whatever skills they've brought with them to the table will work, and they'll just kind of learn as they go. And then we always have the boss that thinks throwing them into the fire and see what they're made of is a smart way to train people. And then they don't give them feedback or encouragement or redirection, and then you have a staff member that really has no clue what they're doing. They're just trying to wing it as best they can. So if they're winging it and you're allowing them to wing it, guess what you're doing? You're winging it too. If you've decided that training is not necessary or it's a super low priority, just go ahead and contact me and I'll make you an offer on your food truck. Just go ahead and do it before you completely fail or go bankrupt. Make your life easy. If you're going to train somebody, and I've talked about this before, but if you're going to train somebody, remember STAR, S-T-A-R. S means show. You're going to show the trainee how to do the job right, and you're going to show it to them in real time. So if you're showing them how to cook a food product or how to wrap a sandwich or how to plate something or tray something up, you're showing it to them the way you would normally do it at your speed. Then the T stands for tell. Now you're going to slow down and tell them as you're showing them again, but this time you're explaining in detail what you're doing for each step along the way of that particular task. And you're going to explain the what as well as the why. When you start to explain the why, people understand how important the task becomes because you're explaining the reasoning behind why you do it the way you do it. A new hire is 5 times more likely to repeat the task as trained if they understand the reasons why behind each of the steps. The A in STAR, the A stands for allow to try. So after you've shown them and then explained to them in detail how to do the job, you're going to give them the opportunity to try it. While you're standing there, they're not left alone. You're going to be there with them to support them and give them a little bit of encouragement as they're attempting to do the task. And then here's the next thing that comes in, the R for STAR. And that's respond and redirect. So while they're allowing to try, you're responding to what they're doing. And then you're going to redirect when they may have forgotten a step or two. And it's a gentle reminder. It's all that it is. You're helping them to learn. Any process takes time to learn if it's got multiple steps. And that practice to get good at it takes time as well. But if you show them, tell them, allow them to try, and then respond and redirect as they're doing the work, they have a better chance of remembering how to do it the way you want it done, so they can repeat that over and over and over. And of course, you always want to encourage them and thank them whenever they're doing any job. So at the end of the day, one of the last things you should do is review their progress throughout the day and then thank them for all the hard work they put in. One of the next tips I got for you guys is you've got to have your own success library. What a library does for you, it puts you in the company of CEOs of all the biggest corporations around the world. On average, those CEOs read 4 books a month. All I want you to do is read one. I'm going to give you a couple of my favorites to give you a starter point, and you guys can add as you feel necessary, because there's a whole bunch of really good authors out there. You need to read See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar and get one of his more updated versions. This was originally written in the 1970s, so it has some old references to like the USSR and things of that nature. But it's a great book because the principles he talks about are timeless. Read another book by Zig Ziglar called Over the Top. If you read nothing else in your life, just read the section that's entitled You Are at the Top When. And then he gives you a lot of different scenarios when you understand you're at the top. And you'll be surprised by what he has to say with that. If you're the type of person that doesn't like reading and you'd rather listen to podcasts like this one, or you'd like to listen to CDs, or back in the day they called them tapes, get Zig Ziglar's How to Stay Motivated, and then the subtitle is Changing the Picture. They're on CDs, they're on MP3s, you can download it from his website, but it's a very long, intensive program that explains a whole bunch about goal setting and staying motivated and getting the most out of you on a personal level, and then of course that translates into your business level. And then if you want to get away from Zig Ziglar, you could read something like from Anthony Robbins called Awaken the Giant Within. It's a pretty neat book. It's quite a thick book, but there's a whole bunch of information in there that will help you to understand how to relate to your employees as well as how to relate to your guests and bring them in. Or there's other books, other authors out there that you can listen to, like John Maxwell, or read from John Maxwell. He's written, I believe, around 30 or 35 books. There's Jim Rohn. There are a bunch of folks out there. Find one that speaks the way you like, that writes the way you like, and then start reading them. But everything that you read, you want to apply the things that speak to you. And then, of course, the fourth tip that I'll always talk about is going to be local store marketing or building your community, and it's a key. And I'm going to give you just a couple of things that I've done in the past and how they relate to marketing your business. And anything that you decide to do as far as marketing goes, once the event is over, you want to step back and look at it and figure out how you can improve it for the next time, or even if you should repeat it. So here's some of the things that I've done. Back in the day, we used to do an Easter egg hunt. So the food truck would be parked like at a Central Park, and then we would have Easter eggs hidden and have a whole bunch of kids come up, and it would be a whole bunch of fun. So the parents would be able to eat from the food truck while the kids are out running around trying to find all the Easter eggs and stuff. You can get other businesses to help you with donations of candy and the Easter eggs themselves, and maybe stuff the eggs with coupons and that type of thing if you're using the plastic eggs, so that there's all kinds of cross promotion going on, and you reap the benefit of being the one that's leading the way, having this Easter egg hunt. You want to make sure you get the local newspaper out, the radio stations out, get some photographs, get some buzz generated about this Easter egg hunt, because I can guarantee you there's not another food truck in your area that's doing that. We used to do a Christmas party, and I did this in the restaurants, and I did this with the food trucks. We would, back in the day, get the welfare departments and whatever department it is that helps folks that are at poverty level, so to speak, and they would give us a list of kids that they felt like the family just could not afford anything for the children for Christmas. So it's kind of like the angel trees that you see nowadays. But what it does for you on a more of a personal level is it allows you and your staff to be able to be involved in that. And if you can't generate your own Christmas party, because if you only have a staff of 3 or 4 people, obviously you can't buy enough stuff for 15 or 20 kids, but you could get 3 or 4 food trucks together and do a big event that way, to where each of the food trucks gets the opportunity to see what it's like to be able to help somebody that needs the help, and to see those smiles on those kids' faces. I can promise you, when your staff buys that little doll that a child has asked for and gets to watch them open the present on Santa's lap, and it's the doll that they've been wanting, that's a priceless feeling, both for you watching it happen and for the employee that was able to grant that wish for that child. I did this for many, many years, and I still remember every single Christmas party that we did. It's just an amazing feeling. And again, have the local news on hand. They can provide that human interest story, and then it gets associated with your business or your group of food trucks. Because that's another thing I can promise you isn't being done at the level it needs to be done. And then there's things like running daily specials. And I know people freak out about giving discounts and stuff and don't want to give away anything. But if you rotate a special, it helps to create patterns for people. And I've done this in many of the restaurants I've run. I've done it on the food trucks that I've had. The idea is that on Monday, you're going to pair 2 things together or 3 things together, and it's a special for Monday. So Monday could be a burger, Tuesday could be a hot dog, Wednesday could be, a chicken sandwich, and so on. The idea is that people get accustomed to that little bit of a special. It also allows them not to be eating the same boring thing day after day after day, and they can come to you for the good deal. When we very first started doing this, we were actually just desperate trying to generate sales, and we started rotating specials where we would group a sandwich, fry, and a drink. This was really back before combos became a thing, and we would price them down at the $2.99 level. And again, this was a long time ago. You'd have to price yours according to whatever your current costs are. It needs to be an attractive offer so that people will want to come in and spend the money. Where you can get yourself into making more money with that is once they buy the special for the day, hey, would you like a dessert with that? Whatever your dessert product is, because that's going to increase the ticket average, going to increase your profitability, and you're making money on that ticket, and you're reducing the overall food cost for that particular ticket, even with the discount. It's always an opportunity for you to suggest a sell. We used to do what we called a parade team. If we weren't able to go set up at the parade, then we would send out our staff dressed in their uniforms to pass out stuff throughout the parade route. And I'm not talking about throwing candy and stuff from a float. They would walk up and down the crowds and give coupons, and if we had samples, we'd do samples. Sometimes we'd pass out logo items just randomly. Sometimes we would set up, if it was a cold, like a Christmas parade or something, we'd set up a little table with hot chocolate and cookies and stuff. The idea is to get people accustomed to your business always being at these kind of things to where they're looking for you. You can also do like a school reading program, especially for the younger ages. Allow the teacher to give them rewards that would allow them to go to your food truck and get something for free. Some little sweet treat or order fries or whatever. The small food prizes encourages the kids to read. It also encourages the kids, because they can't drive, to bring their parents with them, who are probably going to buy something at full price while the kid gets their little freebie. So it creates a win-win. The kids read more, kids get a little free food present from you for having read something, and then the parents are going to come and support your business. So everything that I've listed and all the different ideas I've had and the little key points that I made, I want you to understand that the most important part of everything I just said is you, the business owner, must take planned, deliberate action to improve your business. And it's not only in sales. Sometimes you're just improving your standing in the community, but it will equate to more sales and more sales opportunities if you're out doing the things I've talked about. Thank you so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. Make sure to rate us everywhere that you listen to your podcast, and including Spotify. They just started a new rating system. If you guys are enjoying all the information and find it useful in your food truck business, please consider becoming a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button and follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. If you guys like being around like-minded positive people, join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We've got a whole bunch of awesome memberships at every level, from dreamers to beginners to decades-old veterans. They've all got your back, and they're going to give you some great advice. And again, thank you so much for listening. Come back tomorrow, because I got plenty more to say.